Hi there.
Hi, welcome back to Curious Collection. I'm Will.
I'm Cinnamon.
Today we want to talk about 10 things we can do in 2024 to make ourselves more profitable.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked in our previous videos about how we want to increase our sales by 20%, but there's a lot of things going on in the world and maybe that's not possible. Maybe we're just stuck where we are with our sales. Now, I know there's a lot of people that said last year they didn't have growth. Their sales were flat. But it doesn't mean that we can't make more money.
Well, and some of that is out of our control. So we need to focus on the things that are within our control. So what can we personally do to try to better our profits specifically? Profits, not necessarily sales.
Right. So first of all, we need to know what our numbers are. We need to know where we stand every single day. Are our sales up? Are our profits up? Are we making money on the things that we're selling, or are we just running in circles?
Right. And part of that is also knowing which items are making money, which things that maybe you kind of go into a little harder, and which things you say, you know what, maybe those cat figurines just aren't our jam anymore. They're not doing it for us. So
that's real.
Yeah. The next thing we talked about is number 2 is having a routine to keep you accountable. Have a listing goal. Last year we had a goal of 50 items a day, and that was for a long, long time we had that goal. And that was something that kept us accountable. Got to get into the office. We got to get those listings up. Your thing might be, I want to work 9 to 5, so at 9 o'clock, okay, set yourself some hours. Our hours are, we start our day at 6 a.m. and we end our work day at 3 p.m. So, but that means that during that work time that we've designated work time, you got to work.
Right. We're not being distracted. We're not watching YouTube videos. We're not, going out. We're doing sourcing. We're holding ourselves accountable to what our goals are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 50 listings a day, that's no longer our goal. We've changed, we've looked at our processes in a different way. We still have a daily routine that we hold ourselves accountable to. And you should have something planned every week that this is going to bring consistency to my business.
Right. Now, we have each other, so that's, awesome. We have accountability buddies, but I know not all of you do. So you have to make your own accountability so that you can get those goals, just rock them out every day.
Right. And it can be really hard. Again, working that work from home environment can make it very challenging. With
so
pets,
make it easier
children,
on yourself.
Spouses, there's a lot of distractions out there.
Mm-hmm.
So number 3, establish a best practice and evolve when needed.
Right. So, we have our shipping practices as an example. We've got our jewelry boxes that we send out with all of our, that is, something that has evolved over time, and it continues to evolve. The other day we talked about, should I change the packaging that we have? We have the thank you stickers now that we put inside with the tissue paper. When I had that woman complain because the piece of jewelry was rubbing on the lid, okay, we're going to evolve our practices. We're going to wrap all of the jewelry in tissue paper now to help protect it even further. So, and that also does help with some consistency, and people can see that you care about your products, and they're going to get that same high quality every time.
Right. One of the problems that we had with our collectibles is that we had a lot of glass and ceramic type products, and we used a bin system. And we found that those items, if they weren't being wrapped or bubble wrapped ahead of time or pre-boxed, that they would, run into each other in the box, in the bin, and we would have losses. Things were getting broken before they ever got sold. And then we sell the item, go to pull it, and realize that it's a cracked glass.
Right,
or
and now we've got
figurine.
A defect.
Right. So those are great practices that you can put into your business that are going to help you control those losses, making you more profitable.
Right.
Number 4.
Travel with intention. So limit your number of trips. Group your activities. Don't just drive around aimlessly.
Right. So we love to go to yard sales. We love garage sales. That's not our main sourcing. But if it were, we would make sure that the day ahead of time or 2 days ahead of time, we'd have our map and we would make sure that we had some type of route planned so that we could be most effective, most efficient. Because again, getting in your car, you're putting wear and tear in your car, you're using your time, which is your most valuable resource as a reseller.
Right.
And yes, mileage is deductible, but let's be realistic. We don't want to spend all of our time in the car when the reality is listing it would make us much more money.
Right. And if you're just driving around looking for those garage sales, it might be a half hour in between times that you see those signs. So, go on Facebook groups that have the local garage sales, go to your local Facebook groups, whatever the avenue is that you find those garage sales, think about it ahead of time and make a route. Obviously, if you see a sign while you're out and about garage sailing, by all means, stop in. We love those surprises that you're like, ooh, I found this. But at least have a plan going in. Also, like we like to go to the flea markets and things like that. Well, the flea markets that we go to are about an hour away for the most part. So there's
each way. Yeah.
Right. So there's a packaging place that we stop when we go in that direction, so that we can group those activities together. We're not going to do either one of those things solo because we want to be able to consolidate the travel and the time.
Right. We definitely want to limit the amount of time that we're out of our office. Listing is really where we know we make our money.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing is shop your own inventory.
That one's hard.
We already spent the money on it. So again, all of these things are things that we're going to focus on this year as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about the pile of stuff behind me in these gray totes. Those totes are all full of inventory that we bought over the course of the past year, and it just needs to get listed. So rather than going out and spending another $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on inventory this year, focus on the stuff that you've already got.
Mm-hmm. And again, that's the hard thing because I like to go shopping. I really do. And like having that, oh my goodness, look what I found. Like all of that, all of those little dopamine hits, all of that stuff that we love to do. And that's the best part of reselling. We've already done all of that. So we want to go do more of that. But the thing is, we really do need to work on what we already have because this, we have to get all of this stuff closer to making us money. And right now it's not even on the realm of making us money. So we really do have to take those things and get them listed and, make it work for you.
Right. Another part of that is going back and challenging the old things that you have listed and ensuring that they're in the right category, that you listed it at a reasonable price and that the shipping is reasonable. I found myself, I'll put something in at £1 rate with calculated shipping and it will come up as being 10 pounds when I go to ship it. Or, people are asking, why are you charging so much? This is ridiculous. You're ripping me off. Go back and look at that old stuff that you have listed and challenge it. Say, what am I doing with this? What happened? Where did I miss the ball? Get it relisted. You're going to save yourself money and you're going to make some money because you're going to sell the stuff you already spent money on.
Yep. So number 6 is buying lots and collections of similar items. And not only that, but then also inspecting everything and doing the comps. So we buy from auctions a lot of the times, or we go to the flea market and I'll put piles together of the jewelry. We really, really try not to buy by the piece because we find that when you buy collections, you're able to drive down that per item cost, and again, Anytime that you're able to drive down the cost of buying, then that's more profit in your pocket.
Right. So the flip side of that is to inspect every piece. So when we're going out, we're buying at an auction, or again, we're putting together a lot of our own and we're going to buy it. We have to look at it more closely. I can't tell you how many times we buy a collection, get it back to our office, start going through it. Oh, this piece of china has a hairline crack. This one has a chip in it. This one, there's paint separation. All of those items are then zero value to us. We have to throw them away. And there's so much losses when you make those bad buys. So we're going to try to improve the quality of our buys.
Right.
And we're going to try to drive down the cost of individual pieces by buying larger collections, larger lots together.
Yeah. And you get so excited in the moment, you know, and then like just yesterday, I'm going through and I'm grabbing pieces and I'm super excited about them. This is a great piece. It's signed. It's awesome. And it's missing several stones. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? I picked this item myself. I specifically did not look to see that every stone was there. So that is totally on me, but it's within my control to do a better job in the future. What are you going to do? You know?
Right.
Shop your packaging. Buy from the source. So this is something that we've been working on more and more this last year.
We've been killing ourselves for the last 4 years trying to find better pricing on packaging specifically because, again, as you sell more items, you're using more packaging material.
And it becomes more and more important to save every penny.
Right. So last year we sold over 5,000 pieces. This year, if we do the 6,000 pieces, that's 6,000 pieces of packaging. We have to be getting the best price. You know, if it's 10 cents a piece, that's $600 that we could save.
Yeah, and that's all profit. And I mean, that's awesome. Like, let's do that, right? If you can make an extra $600 just because you shopped around and you saved 10 cents per envelope, that's pretty significant at the end of the day.
Right. So one of the things that we did, just to throw out some things that you could do yourself, we found that one of the packagers that we buy from on an online marketplace, they had their brand on the side of the box with their website. So we just went straight to their website. Mm-hmm. So that right there, I think we saved $8 when we put together that order.
Yeah.
Look for a local company. The person that we use they actually have a salvage company. So they're buying mixed truckloads. Maybe the truck was damaged. And so, you know, the cardboard box come in and maybe there's 2 cardboard boxes that are damaged, but we're getting the cardboard boxes at 15 to 20 cents a piece. So we're looking
instead of 50 cents
instead of 50 cents, or sometimes it's even $1.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we've done is we will buy the end cut of bubble wrap. Mm-hmm. So if you shop around, now I'm not saying it's easy to find these companies, but if you shop around, you could find the end cut bubble wrap. Your customer's not going to care if the item came in an end cut or if it was, you know, the standard beautiful piece that you bought at the big box store.
We had a viewer comment on one of our videos talking about packaging, and they have a guy that works at, I think he said a newspaper place or it was some place that makes paper, and he gets the end cuts of their paper at just a fraction of the cost. So, I mean, that's certainly something to look into too, if you've got that option.
One of the things that I did last year is I found some craft paper from a local school auction. Mm-hmm. For $5, I got hundreds of square feet of paper that I can use for packaging material.
Right. And that's just a fraction of the cost of the butcher paper that we would typically buy to wrap our fragile items.
Right. So we do, in our business, we do stay away from using newspaper or types of items with print on it because there's an allergen associated with that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, again, that's part of our best practices. We don't want to use anything that's moldy, musty, been in the rain, cause any allergies or odors to anybody. Right. So, but that is a great idea. Another thing is that resellers that have gone out of business, it's sad to buy out other people's stuff like that. But, if you think about it, you're helping them out.
Right. If they're trying to get out from underneath it, then, and a lot of times, like at the auction, we've bought, packaging boxes, things like that from other resellers who were trying to, consign their old stock that they're just, they just want to get rid of.
Yeah. So last year we picked up, I think, 400 or 500 boxes for, like a quarter of the resale value.
Yeah. And buying in bulk helps as well. If you buy 100 boxes instead of 25 boxes, then you're going to save. And then also, we will maybe buy all 3 of the sizes of jewelry boxes at once, because if you spend over $100, then you get the free shipping. But I mean, obviously, again, you have to know where you're at on all of those numbers, right, so that you are getting the best deal. Maybe it's not a deal, and again, right, know your numbers.
When you know your numbers, you're going to do better.
Yeah.
Next thing that we've got here is to join a group or an association that sells or collects the types of items that you like to deal in. Mm-hmm. So that could be as simple as watching a YouTube channel, or it could be, a local postcard collector group, stamps, coins, toys. There's antique toy groups out there, mm-hmm, Facebook, or, right, those types of environments. So, we recently were at a flea market, and the person selling postcards, and they invited us to come to their postcard group, mm-hmm, that they have locally, and maybe even join. And that could be a great inside source for material, but it's also a great educational opportunity. Mm-hmm. People love to share things that they know about.
They do. And then also, if somebody in the group is, again, trying to get rid of their excess stock, then now you're a trusted member of the group. So maybe now you have an inside track to buy, getting inventory, and all of that. But it does lead us into the next thing, which is to educate yourself. So there's lots of ways to educate yourself. Like we said, watching these YouTube videos, trying to learn more knowledge from other people is great, but you have to take personal accountability in that as well. It's one thing to watch, but being engaged, asking your questions, and, sharing your experiences, you're going to get a lot more out of it if you're actively involved with it. Again, we are so happy for our viewers. We really, really are. But you're going to learn more if you say, hey, you know what? I'm kind of struggling with this item, or I'm kind of struggling with, this concept. Can you kind of go into that a little bit more? If you are taking a leadership role in your involvement, then you're going to get a lot more out of it.
Right. And again, watching watching a YouTube video, I love watching YouTube videos of other resellers, but a lot of people don't sell the types of items that I sell. Mm-hmm. And so, looking to see what are the people that are selling similar types of items doing, or asking, hey, I noticed that you sell all of these figurines. I picked up the same figurine. I can't sell it. What am I doing wrong? Mm-hmm.
And they may have some ideas, maybe they've got more depth in the category, or maybe, like I've talked about, those keywords, right? When I have those really nature involved items, I talk about cottagecore in my key terms.
Right. You sold a necklace today and it was tribal. Mm-hmm. It wasn't in the tribal category, but you had listed it as a tribal style.
Right. So having those keywords are really important, but how do you know if you don't educate yourself? And part of that is through talking with other resellers in groups like this, doing the research. Like I said, I educate myself on Pinterest a lot. I have books that, I look into. I have, I have one up there, but it's lost in all of that. But there's lots of different ways to educate yourself. The YouTube videos are great. But again, you have to take responsibility in your learning. So do a little bit extra and you're going to get a little bit extra back.
Right. So the last thing that we have for how we're going to be more profitable this year, and how you can too, is that we're going to sell things that we're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we were selling things that were profitable, and profit is great, but just focusing on a profitable item that you're not passionate about, you're not going to be tempted to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Right.
not going to want to list it. You don't want to clean it. You don't want to look at it. You don't want to walk by it in the storeroom.
Right. It's drudgery at that point. And nobody wants to sell something that is just, oh God, do I really have to do this? And when that's the case, then you're not putting your passion into it. You're not putting all of your energy and focus and extras into the item, and your buyer is going to recognize that, right? If you're not like, ooh, I want just the right sparkle in the photo, for like an aurora borealis bead, right? I spend extra time making sure the light hits it just right so that you can see all of the multicolor sparkle, right? That's something I'm passionate about, and I want to share that passion with my buyers. And they see that at the end of the day when they receive their item and they get their pretty little blue box and they open up the tissue paper and they're just like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And then they write those comments, and then those comments get seen by other people and more people come to our store. Like, this is all because of the passion that I have for the item that I get to then share with my customers, and again, that's jewelry is my thing. He gets to do the same thing with the history and the ship stuff and,
But the reality is, if I had to test electronics every day, I don't have passion for that. I recognize that. Early on, I tried to sell that type of stuff, and I just couldn't bring myself to test it, to clean it, and do all the work that's required. The same thing with clothing and ball caps. I don't have the passion for it.
And if you
so
do,
it's
that's
not
awesome.
something that I can bring myself to do. It's that much more pain to get those listings up. So
I hope that you have, found some things that you can go into your business and help educate yourself and help you be more profitable in this upcoming year.
And if you have any other items that we could add to this list of things to make us more profitable, please drop those in the message section and like and subscribe.
Thanks so much. Good luck to you.